Now, mate, look, I'm just going to have to boxing fanboy here and take us slightly away from it. We just seen Fury Wilder.
Who are they?
I mean, who are they, man? You're the champ as far as I'm aware, mate. You should have seen the hug I just gave you. But what was your view on that fight, very quickly?
Fury's very talented. Wilder's very talented. They went in there and they gave their best, and one man came out on top. I think that maybe Wilder thought it would have been an easier fight because of Fury had a long layoff. Because he had his own issues outside of the ring and stuff like that. But I think he was mentally right. Yeah, so they were both physically conditioned for the fight. But sometimes when you've been at rock bottom where Fury was, the only way is up. You can't actually go any lower than that. So he picked himself up, and only he knew how high he took his heights.
I suppose you remember that, though, as well, don't you? You remember being at rock bottom. So I can never go there again.
Yeah, nothing can really... You won't even let yourself get there again. So... I think he was at his highest height that night, and it paid off for him. So mentally, he was in the best place possible, and he just pulled off one of the, a great performance against a dangerous puncher.
Not quite as good as UV Klitschko, but
that was a scrap.
That was the best fight I've ever watched in my life, mate.
Big man ting, smash the like button and subscribe. So we just heard there from Anthony, the ultimate cheek splitter, Joshua, going relatively in-depth. This is the first in-depth opinion he's given on Wilder versus Fury 2. And in my... And I can't lie, listen, I agree to a high extent, 1,000,000%, especially with the first thing he said. He said that Wilder, essentially, weren't really expecting it. However, I will actually go a level deeper. AJ says here, basically, that I don't think that Wilder was expecting... In fact, let me read you the quotes quickly. Let's go back quickly. So it says... AJ says, they went in there, they gave their best, and one man came out on top. I think maybe Wilder thought it would have been an easier fight because Fury had a long layoff and Fury had his own issues outside the ring and stuff like that. So, that there for me is skin deep. What really went on is, as I've been saying this for these last few years, as we all know, Wilder is delusional. He spent all this time believing he was oh man, I'm the bronze bomber. I've only got to hit you once. He believed in this power, which I've been trying to tell people never existed. Who was it recently? Someone completely mugged him off about his power. Who was it now? That's going to annoy me. Someone literally laughed him out of the room. Oh, that was it. Floyd Mayweather Sr. We didn't do a video on this, but someone asked Floyd Mayweather Sr., does Deontay Wilder have all-time great punching power? And Mayweather Sr. laughed the interviewer out of the room. And that's the point. But because of you fans, and because you can't even blame the fans, to be fair. It'd be one thing if it was just fangirls gassing Wilder's power up. You have literally... I'm pretty sure Lennox Lewis and other goofy people like that have been saying, oh yeah, well Wilder has that all-time great, he's undoubtedly the biggest puncher in the world. Imagine hearing that from your, not only peers, but hearing that from your legends and whatnot, your elders. That's just going to gas you up. You got this man way too gassed. He was already gassed enough, and that was the last thing he needed. And to be honest, I've even got to hold my hands up because... Well, tell a lie. Until the last week, I was of the understanding that Fury don't stand a chance. If Fury ran around, I was 99% sure Wilder will catch him. But to be honest, I should have really took a step back and thought, you know what? When Fury fought him the first time, he couldn't put him down then, so there's no real telling that he was going to do it this time. Not to mention, this time he came in 275. 205 centimetres, 6'9" of inside fightingness. Which in the last week I did kind of surmise and say that if Fury comes in there, big, heavy and strong, and weighs all over Wilder, his legs will buckle. And the crazy thing is, I hate to say it again, but listen, what do we know? I literally said his legs will buckle. What happens? Oh man, my legs, and the receipts are there, the videos are there. Oh man, my legs, and I was wearing my suit. My suit was a little heavy. No, your legs buckled because you had 280 pounds of inside fightingness weighing all over your little frame. Yeah, your basketball player frame. Listen, basketball players, they're used to carrying a basketball. It's full of air. They're not used to carrying a 280-pound man, are they? Let's be real now. Let's talk turkey. Yeah? They're used to jumping through the air, not having a 280-pound man weighing all over them, holding them down. Basketball players are called jumpers, not weigh downers. You know what I mean? Anyway, listen. The point is, what AJ's saying here, skin deep level, is exactly right. Now, the YB will add on his PhD psychological part onto it, as I've just been doing. Wilder, everyone's to blame here. All-time greats are to blame, fans are to blame, a whole bag of man are to blame. Not only because Wilder wasn't gassed just because Fury was coming off a layoff, because if anything, this last fight, Fury wasn't really coming off a layoff. But you heard how arrogant Wilder was. Wilder was saying, for the first time actually, Wilder said, even in the first fight he didn't say this, but in the second fight he said, oh man, you know, when Fury said he was going to do with Wilder in the second round, Wilder said, oh man, you know he don't believe that. He got pillow fears. He can't hurt. And this is the problem, you see. Sometimes often God does people like this, you know. When you get too arrogant, when you don't give full respect and whatnot, not only to your opponent, but when you don't give full, Wilder almost took his belief in God as, as he expected it. He expected God to back him. Does that make sense? Rather than praising the Lord and whatnot, he almost said, I'm anointed. I will get this. I will do this. You know what I mean? He never came across as a humble servant. Now, I'm not too deep into religion, but I'm just saying, from what I understand and what makes sense to most people, you got to be humble with it. You got to be God's humble servant. Not, I'm anointed by God. I will knock. I've only got to be right for 1 second. No, you got to be humble, and you got to pray for that. You got to pray for that. God gives you that 1 second, because not everyone's going to come in there like Ortiz with 70-year-old legs, stand there, hands by his ankles, and smile. No one's going to do that. Not everyone's going to do that. Some people are going to come in there with a gypsy spirit, 6'9", 205 centimetres, and will go in there and weigh all over you. The next thing you know, you'll be memed and talking about how your costume was too heavy. But yeah, like I said, AJ is more or less bang on the money here, psychologically wise. Ultimately, Wilder was massively unprepared, and that's why, unlike many people, I do believe I want to see the rematch. Many people have been saying, oh no, there's no point. I think there is a point. The first fight was a draw. Let's call it what it was. People think Fury boxed his head off. No, Fury didn't give him a boxing lesson. What happened on February 22nd was a boxing lesson. Yeah? Let's get classification. Let's start classifying fights properly, please, people. February 22nd was a boxing lesson. December 2nd was not. December 2nd was a 50-50 war where Fury had to peel himself off the canvas. That weren't no boxing lesson. Let's be real now. But anyway, like I was saying, I do actually want to see a rematch, because if, for whatever reason, we don't give Wilder the rematch, guess what? We hear, oh man, Wilder coulda, shoulda, woulda. He woulda knocked him out the next time. I want this man dead and buried. Which is going to happen. This is the great thing we get. I don't know why you man want to rush it for. I want to actually, it's one thing, Wilder. The reason why I wanted Wilder versus AJ locked in was because I was 99% sure it weren't going to happen. But I'm on the opposite side now. I'm 99% sure if AJ versus Fury will happen. So when you haven't got to have the anxiety, oh, are we going to get it? Are we not going to get it? I'm enjoying the building period. Do you know what I mean? I want to see Pulev get splattered. I want to see Usyk get splattered. I want to see Wilder splatter Fury splatter Wilder again. Let's take a step back and actually start enjoying the sport now. That's what we can do. Now we're more confident that we're going to get the actual ones we want. We don't have to be so stressed, and I understand why people are saying, let's just get the unification on now. I understand that, because we spent the last 3 years with a ducker, Wilder, refusing to fight anyone. But luckily, the good has prevailed, and he's been exposed. And I just don't see a way, even if I don't care who he brings in. Wilder ain't gonna learn squat in 4 or 5 months, and it's not even 4 or 5 months. It's gonna be literally 4 months. He's not gonna learn. He's not changing his team, or even if he does bring someone in, trust me, he ain't changing nothing. That's what we do know. So I want this man fully written off. I want to see him exposed again, because the first time people can say, we've heard all the excuses, we've heard about the gloves, we've heard about this, we've heard about headlock, we've heard about that. Well, this time, one time you can get away with it. This time, Wilder knows what he's getting. So they won't be able to make no more excuses. His team can make sure triply that the gloves, even though they already did, but if you said there was some problem with the gloves, Wilder's team can make sure triply the gloves are okay, etc, etc. And by the way, P.S. Wilder still hasn't made any mention about any damn gloves, by the way. But yeah, anyway, listen, the rematch should happen. But anyway, back to what AJ was saying, in terms of what happened in there. Wilder overestimated his standing, and that's why it all links in basically. AJ's analysis of this first fight links into the whole lot of it. We're gonna find out. You don't find out who someone is until you get a rematch. You just don't, because you've always got the excuses of, I got caught lacking, or you can always have excuses the first time. The second time's when there ain't no excuses. He's just got your number. And I've said it. I've been consistent. You can't sit here. No Wilder fan can sit there and say, you're just saying that because it's Wilder. I said many times, if Ruiz beats AJ, I'm sorry, Ruiz has got his number. And he's a better fighter. It's just the end of the day. You can't argue with it. You get beat twice. That's simple as that. So yeah, what AJ said here is bang on correct. Wilder ultimately massively underestimated Fury. However, it ain't going to make a difference, because even if he didn't underestimate, I think what's going to happen is he's going to be under even more pressure, and Wilder choked anyway, by the way. A lot of the reason his legs were tired was anxious energy. He spent a lot of time before the fight was pacing up and down, as many of the what they call radio people were saying. Fury was sitting there chilling and laughing, sitting down. Wilder was pacing up and down, nervous. I mean, I've already exposed it myself. Wilder, after the first fight, talking about his anxiety. And what do we know? Wilder literally looked... The way Wilder was throwing his right hand in the second fight was exactly the same as the first fight. And he said he was going to correct that. He said, the first fight I wasn't throwing my right hand properly. I was swinging it. I wasn't doing it straight. Look how beautiful the Ortiz and the Brazil one was. Short and sharp. I didn't see one of them against Fury. Everyone was proper winged. He was putting way too much. It was an anxious desperation shot. And just think, if you go in there desperate against a man who you thought was pillow-fisted, what's going to happen now when you're going in there with a man who's just bashed you all over the place? He's in deep trouble. Deep trouble. I just hope for his soul's sake, because his soul is trapped in Vegas. I just hope for his soul's sake he can maybe get, I don't know, I'm not sure how he's going to get it back, because he ain't going to win. I'm trying to think, maybe in the comments below, you put some ideas down. How do you think Wilder can, in the rematch, get his soul back? I'm just thinking, maybe, I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal with her. I think Wilder may get his soul back if, when Fury's touching him up all over the place like a heavy bag, if I see Wilder stick his chin down and start throwing back, that day will win his soul back. Do you know what I mean? If he goes out like a warrior rather than goes out with his earmuffs on and complains, oh man, why'd you stop it, referee? It was only 90 unanswered shots. That's not fair. Yeah. If Wilder goes in there and starts getting touched all over the place like a big stiff heavy bag, and he puts his chin down and he just starts winging shots, that'll win his soul back. Otherwise, his soul will be lost in Vegas, just like Naz, to be fair. Naz's soul's still stuck in Vegas, factually. But yeah, anyway, what AJ said here, bang on more or less, and obviously the YB's come through and put a little piece of addition on there.